Hi, I'm Kristin, and I'm studying plastic reconstructive surgery this year. So this is my mission statement. But the reason I chose plastic reconstructive surgery was because I feel like how a person looks should represent their character as much as their actions or what they say do. And I feel like it's a really good way to help people who have been affected by either disease or disorders to feel that they're showing who they really are and not have that barrier of looking different. Not that different's bad, like uniqueness is good. The UNT trip, I took the classes for biology, animal physiology, and psychology. Biology I took because I'm considering being a biology major, and I'm glad I did that because I really did like biology, so I probably will be majoring in that. And then animal physiology, well, humans are animals too. So I took that class, and it was good to see, like, it was more of application of what we learn, and they're using like equations and diagrams to solve for like how much air goes in or out or something. It was kind of physics-y, but not really. And then there's also psychology that I took, because I know a lot of doctors take psychology as an undergraduate major, and I was just kind of exploring to see if that'd be a path for me, and it definitely was interesting, but it wasn't exactly what I liked doing. So UNT was a really good experience for me to kind of narrow down on what I want to major in. So I have done 4 interviews so far, and I'll only say like 1 or 2 things I learned from each doctor because I don't want to take too long. But Dr. Smart, he's the doctor I asked to be my mentor, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him. But what really stuck out to me about him is the reason that he is a pediatric craniofacial and cleft lip and palate plastic reconstructive surgeon is because he really likes the visual aspect of it, which is really what attracted me. And overall, what I've noticed with all these doctors is that they've always had an interest in art or some other visual kind of activity, I guess. And I really looked up to him because I could see that he was so passionate about it, and he was like really easy to talk to since we had like the same purpose for being interested in the field. And then I also met Dr. Coco. She's a bit different. She does like cosmetic and reconstructive, so I was kind of able to see both sides, because in the beginning I was pretty general on just plastic surgery. And what I learned from her was she told me to keep an open mind, which I kind of really admired, because she said you never really know what you're going to be. She said it's a good idea, like she thinks it's a good idea for us to be doing what we are as ISM students, but she said that it's better to keep an open mind so we might not miss an opportunity of pursuing a career that's better fit for us. And then Dr. Kenkel, he is the professor and chairman of plastic surgery at UT Southwestern, and he was actually the previous president of the Plastic Surgeon Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. And he just taught me to do what makes you happy. All these doctors told me informational things about their careers, obviously, but what stood out to me most was him talking about how he's genuinely happy to get out of bed every morning to go to work. And I feel like that's a really good thing to, follow, or I hope to be that way too. I hope to find a career that I enjoy going to every morning, which is why I'm also in this class, to make sure this is what I want to do. And then Dr. Kane, he's also the same type of doctor that Dr. Smart is. And he just, when I asked him what's the most challenging aspect of your job, he was very truthful. Like, he told me straight on. He told me that honestly everything is challenging, which is expected. But he said the reason he says that is because all cases are so different, and you have to really be able to figure out what way to treat each patient is best, because everyone's not going to respond the same way. And he said it's a lot of pressure to kind of have that in your hands, to know that what decision you make might impact them permanently and it might not always be good. But he said, likewise, on the other side, it can be good, which is why he enjoys doing his job. So for research, I started, like I said, I was really broad. I just knew plastic surgery, and then I kind of narrowed down on reconstructive because I didn't know reconstructive existed. And I know most people, when they think of plastic surgery, they think it's very like superficial and like everyone just focused on their looks. And I honestly thought so too. But when I found this side of it, that's what really got me involved because I'd always been interested in plastic surgery. And the first article I read, because I had no idea what I wanted to do, was about breast reconstruction options. And it was really interesting for me because I've always wondered like if fat transfer to help balance people out after they have their breast removed because of breast cancer would be possible, because I know lots of people joke around, they're like, oh, I wish I could move this part of my body to this side, and we've all heard it, at least I have. So I was really surprised to find out there was actually a procedure for that. Like, people always act as if it's not possible, but it actually is. But I was also surprised to find that there's many precautions to take, and there's also many restrictions when it comes to plastic surgery. Because you think it's just moving things around or reshaping things, but there's a lot that can happen. Like, they have to make sure when they do move fat that they don't move too much to the point where you'll get a hernia. And there's also restrictions on weight, because I think this has more to do with anesthesiology. But like, if they're too heavy, they can't get the surgery done, and if they're too light, they can't either. So I was really surprised by all the things that go into it. And then next I did, this one's more broad too because I wasn't sure yet. It was talking about how technology plays a role in plastic surgery more nowadays. Like, they use scanners to measure how much they should transfer. And this got me thinking about like the other forms of technology that's already in use. Like, when I went to Dr. Smart for his interview, he showed me a bunch of some of his lectures that he does at the college, at the medical school. And what I noticed was he has skulls. He has like 3D printed skulls that he has markings all over with like degrees of how much to move things. So it was pretty amazing to see that technology is already in use as is. And also, it got me thinking about how technology has the potential to be very beneficial, because I know that we already have 3D printers, and I've already heard that we have spray guns that actually spray skin cells on like burn wounds. So I was wondering if it'd be like possible to make like print perfect flaps of skins for skin transfers. And then this one was, by now I already knew I wanted to focus more on the face. So I did research about facelift procedures, and there's a new discovery in the aging process. Like, people always get facelifts because they think, oh, they're sagging, but what causes the sagging is as you get older, you lose fat in your face. Like, that's what causes it to like age. And then they have a new approach to where they treat it with not only lifting the face, but they also give you fat injections so that they can kind of supplement the fat that's dissolving away. And the reason I actually read this one was because I was focusing more on, I was wondering more about whether there were better ways to treat patients so that scars and things can look more natural. And I realized that maybe injections could be helpful, since it'll help balance things out structurally. And then this is the most recent one I've read, and it just talks about cleft lip and palate. And I guess I kind of knew, but there's a lot that goes into it. There's many different types of doctors. There's speech therapists, and then there's ear, nose, and throat doctors, because the palate isn't only in the mouth. It runs down the throat, so they can have trouble making sounds. And one of the challenges that's really big for infants is that they can't feed. Some have figured out ways to work around it. And this article led me to research a bit more about the feeding process. And I found a video, and it was a mother who had 3 kids with cleft lip and palate, because it's actually, they think it's genetic. They don't know the real cause yet, but they've noticed that it's mostly genetic. If you have a sibling that had it, you're most likely to have it too. And she was talking about how she knows that many mothers feel that it's really important to breastfeed their kids, not only because there's the nutrition argument to it, but they also feel that it's a better way to bond with your child. So she was teaching them how to breastfeed their children through the video. But one problem is that some of them have soft palates, so it's not as developed, and they have nothing to push their tongue against so they can drink milk. So I was hoping to address the issue with my original work project by helping them have something that's in their mouth so that they can push up against it and still drink milk, because they already have a bottle, but obviously the bottle doesn't provide the experience that many of the mothers feel like they're missing out on. And yes, so that's what led me to my original work idea. And then the quote I have is, "What you do today can improve all your tomorrows." I actually went and looked for this quote because I only know it in Korean, and it's what my parents tell me. So this is the most similar one I found. And I feel like this applies to all of us as ISM students, because we are doing this today in order to have more opportunities and learn more and figure out what we want to do. And I hope to apply this and keep it in mind so that I can make the most of all that comes to me through ISM. Thank you.